The final book of the series is about the field work with long range shooting. So we start at the 100-yard range. We go back to the bench to begin with, or on the ground prone, and we get our technique ironed out at 100 yards, and then we slowly work our way up to long ranges. So there's a hell of a lot involved, and I'm seeing a lot of poor technique out there at the moment. And I think one of the worst things is that is being driven by the actual people who are teaching. That's what concerns me the most. So, yeah.
We'd have to say it's who it's about, but the difference, the little difference at the range, and then out long at like 700 yards, and it's meters. It's kind of It's amazing that the little things at the range that you kind of pick up and go, that's not quite right.
Yeah.
And then we get out in the field, and it's just massive. It's
yeah, dead right. And that's what I'm saying. Along with that, people are blaming things out long, like, it must have been the wind, or, that must have been a finicky shot, or my hand load, and it's not. A lot of the time what we're seeing is just very, very basic errors in technique. I look at these websites, people say, I want you to look at this website, or someone will Facebook me, we want to be friends and we have a shooting school and have a look at our website. And the moment I get to their front page, I see errors in their technique on their home page. And it's just, So I cannot, I can't sort of condone that. I can't run with you until, these things are worked out. So.
Yeah. It always amazes me, it just compounds so fast when you get out beyond kind of 300 yards and that kind of stuff. It's kind of, you don't notice so much, I guess, in short, but as soon as you start getting out a bit longer, it all just goes bad really quick.
Yeah, dead right. Dead right. Yeah, so if we can help people out one step at a time and work through each of these issues. So the first part of the book is going through the very basic technique, getting right back to the roots of good shooting form. And then as we progress through there, we start working out to ranges of 300 and 400 yards. And then from there we start looking at long range. And to do that, then we need to look at optics, and we need to look at, or I prefer to look at, how to make manual drop charts, as well as how to use modern software and phone applications and so forth. But there's just so many times where you do need to have a good set of analog drop charts, because you just don't have time. The phone shuts down all of a sudden in the middle of your shoot. And making drop charts isn't as simple as the software sort of prints something out or output something and you just hit print. I mean, it's just not good enough, because there's a whole lot of information missing from that. So if we can take the reader through step by step as to how to use that software and make a decent set of working drop charts, when you first read it, it may seem very confusing, but just give it a little bit of time and a bit of practice, and you will, within about an hour, be able to make a good set of drop charts that you can use in multiple situations, and they really help speed things up in the field and just keep you focused on what you need to be doing, rather than twiddling around with your phone or what have you, when you should be looking at what's going on out in front of you. And then for the more extreme range stuff, then we need to start looking into phone applications and so forth, and we're really starting to get into the small things then that make a huge difference. But I also like to condense things into simple rules. You can have intellectual debates forever about, this affects that and this is, but when it comes down to it, when you've got to take the shot, sometimes you haven't got time to go through all of this crap that people want you to, or think that you need to go through. You just don't have it. So if you can have a simple set of click rules that you can have in the notebook here, the trusty notebook, bright red so that everyone can see me coming. And if you've got a simple set of click rules and so forth that you can refer to, then it makes life a hell of a lot easier. You can get your shot away. So and then towards the end of the book, we'll look at more towards the, although it's the wrong way around, we'll look at the basics of shooting, such as the standing snapshots, sitting, kneeling, and running shots, and also look at some of the gear that you would want to be using if you were going away on a backpack hunt. So we need to go through those things as well, but because it's a long range book, those things have gone towards the back of the book rather than teaching these basics, which perhaps should have been at the front. But if you think about when you're teaching children, you teach children to shoot prone first and then they move to the other positions. So this is the same here, but we've extended it to long range, and then we teach people the other aspects of it in that way around.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Because if you're shooting prone, you're getting that good position, and you're kind of locking yourself in, and then that translates to the other. When you start getting into the other positions.
But also, I mean, years ago when I was guiding, I came across men who thought that you must stand to take a good shot, and they hadn't been taught to shoot prone, and they couldn't shoot prone either, and so you start running into these problems where the person really believes that they have to have a level of talent almost, and there's no such thing. To me, talent's just, it's irrelevant. It's skill, and you can only build that skill from the ground up, and you start by teaching the person to shoot prone and getting them into the mindset that if there's an opportunity to use a field rest or lean against a tree or whatever, you take that, because it's not about you, and it's not about your skills or your talents. At the end of the day, it's about the animal. You do what's right for the animal.
Yeah.
And then, sure, if you have the opportunity to take a snapshot, do so, but work out what your range limitations are. And generally, for most of us, if you're not competing, those ranges might only be 25 and out to 50 yards.
Right on the top left-hand corner of that square of lichen.
Yep. Yeah, your shot went high and it went to the right. So just test the theory that high and right is quite often human error. Change Calvin's shooting position, and we'll just see what happens without any other alterations whatsoever. Yeah, dead on. So that's that. You get caught out with that every frickin' time, man.
So what's the hand on the pack doing?
The hand sandwich is what I talk about in the book.
Oh, okay.
It's lethal, man. It's lethal. It stuffs up everyone. Experienced hunters, newbies, everyone. It just stuffs them right up. Yeah.
That's weird, isn't it?
It's very weird.
Why would you go right?
It's a natural reaction. It's because your brain, it works so quick in microseconds. You know, it anticipates the recoil, and the hand takes the rifle across under recoil.
But why is it? Because it's sandwiched. Like, because when you're back, what's the difference? You'd think it would be.
You would think you'd have less control there.
Yeah.
And that, for some reason, it prevents us from actually being able to pull the shot around. Yeah.
Frog me. Oh well.
Very interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
One little thing, but it can make such a huge difference.
Yeah.
Because that, there's just chalk and cheese, those two shots. So.
Yep.
Yeah, very good. It's just slightly to the right, but dead on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was really, really good. Long, long way. Good.